I believe we're doing it.
Good evening, guys. Welcome to this week's episode of the FGE Cast. You're with the full crew. You got Reggie, you've got Mary Fowler, and you've got Yoni. How are we going, guys?
Pretty
Can't
good.
believe Mary Fowler's here.
I
I
can't
know,
believe Billy
Mary.
Armstrong from Green Day's here.
How are we
Oh,
going, guys? Do we want to be American idiots or no?
Not
oh
today.
man. Did we continue the FTU banter in here, did we? Witty as fuck.
That's what we are.
We're all hilarious. Guys, it's got an action-packed episode going on because the leagues have well and truly kicked in. So we'll get started onto it. We don't want to be mucking around because we're going to start on the hottest topic, and that is Saudi Arabia. We're not going to talk about the league because, frankly, who gives a fuck what's going on in that league except for Ronaldo got a hat-trick. That's great. We want to talk about specifically these players are going there, and they're not playing around because they've actually somehow taken Gabri Veiga off of Celta Vigo. 21 years old, highly touted Spanish midfielder, linked with a lot of big clubs in Spain, a lot of big clubs across Europe, but he's felt Saudi today and he's taken the bag. And people are very polarized. Jesse, you pointed out that Tony Cruz commented embarrassing on the post, but I know you disagree with that. If you want to maybe start on that, Jesse.
Yeah, I 100% disagree with it. I think it's a bit shit for people to say it. I get there's some aspects to it maybe that are embarrassing because he is going to go play for a country that's human rights record isn't that great. But honestly, name one country that has a good human rights record, and I'll be laughing. Once again, name one country. There's a fucking Tourette's over there.
Yeah. It's having an outburst.
straight out of Brisbane, mate, with a bogan. Look, there's no country has a perfect human rights record, and to call someone embarrassing.
Have you heard of Israel?
next question.
So no country has a great human rights record, and to say someone's embarrassing because they're going there and giving up European glory to make it back, I think that's just a bit shit, right? Not every footballer likes football. That's a fact, all right? As fans, we like football, so we have different opinions on it. Very clearly, if we all became footballers, we probably want to win the Champions League or win a World Cup. This guy probably might just want to get paid. Might have been something he was good at. Never thought he would take it serious, and then suddenly, I can get more money for fucking 3 years and play in Saudi Arabia than fucking Haaland will get at Man City in a year.
It's easy for us to say, "Oh, I wouldn't do that if I was in their position," but really, you'd take the money.
Honestly, yeah, there's so little people who have such a perfect moral compass that they wouldn't take that money. I'll be honest, if Saudi Arabia decided to sponsor this podcast and we just talked about how great Saudi Arabia is all the time, I don't care if it's fucking $300 or $1,000 or $10,000. I'm taking the money because it's fucking money changes your life no matter how much it is.
Exactly. And the perfect knowledge that people say is if you work a job and you get offered triple, if not 5 times the amount that you're currently getting paid, do the same job, say it's in Saudi or whatever, or somewhere in the Middle East. If you're getting paid that kind of money, no one here is going to be like, no, I'm not going to do that. You're always going to take the money. I just looked it up now. Vega's getting 30 million euros for 3 years. That's I think double.
There's another big aspect to this as well. Going to Saudi Arabia as well. You don't have the pressure that you would if you go to a Real Madrid, if you go to a Bayern Munich or whatever big team, and the fans are all over you and everything like that. You can go make a lot of money, be more relaxed, mentally as well. And I think that's
literally, you have one good game and some fan is giving you a bloody Rolex.
They treated did you see that? It was Fabinho. He got given a Rolex as a gift.
And then they dropped it immediately.
It's the most Arab thing ever. Oh, good game. We give you a Rolex. You want the Bugatti? We got the Bugatti here. You want the wife? We have 5 of them.
But that's the thing is and another thing people bring up is if they're giving up on Europe and I think it's time people start realizing Europe is where all the prestigious and the trophies and all that are, but you don't have to play in Europe to be a good footballer. We all remember Paulino, who came from China for one season to play for Barcelona, dominated it, and then went back to China and was still a good player in Brazil for Brazil's national team.
But he played for didn't Paulinho play for Spurs?
Yeah, but he's
no.
He flopped at Spurs. He
flopped.
He was
he was Spurs, then China.
He was
then
one of
went
the.
to
He was
Barca,
one of the.
and then back to China.
He was one of the guys they bought with the Gareth Bale money. Yeah, he was so bad at Spurs, went to China, then went back to Barca.
Yeah,
but Axel
I remember
too,
that was shocking.
But Witzel
spent like 3 years in China and came back and did amazing at Dortmund.
Yeah, and then there's things too, like I like if Oscar kept getting called up for Brazil, I'm sure he would be just as good as he was prior to going to China. Like I think it's everyone looks at Europe as like the holy grail, but like you can still be a good footballer outside of Europe and be called up for your national teams. And so if you don't want to win a Champions League and go through all that pressure, fuck off to Saudi Arabia. Like why would you not? I would.
And people could get off their high horse. Oh, I would never. Like no, I wouldn't. Like yeah, you would. Shut up. Like it's easy, like you guys said, it's easy for us to say from our position that we wouldn't take that money, but of course you would. It's generational money. You look at like what they offered Mbappe as an example. Like the fact that he didn't take it is crazy, but
he earns that much in Europe anyway, so he doesn't need to.
He does, but like that's the kind of money that they get. Like you look at what you got your Ronaldo's and Benzema's earning 200 mil a year, but even these run of the mill guys are getting about between 10, 20, 30, 40 mil a year.
Yeah,
just these like run of the mill dudes.
And people got to remember too, like somebody is like, you look at some of the players that go in, Brazilians or people from like Africa or like poorer areas, they've grown up with no money, right? And like their spending habits 9 times out of 10 starts going to the level that they're earning, right? So you look at like some of the old Brazilian stars back in the day, they're all poor now. They're living off their name and getting free shit off their names and all that. And like current they'll drop out a book or something and try and get more money, or they'll commentate or something. That's only because they ran out of money because no one ever taught them how to spend properly. So of course you're gonna go to Saudi Arabia and earn a shit ton more money just to hopefully never have that problem. Like Oscar, one of the things he always says was he went there so his extended family doesn't have to work again. Like he's from a favela. Like he doesn't want he doesn't want anyone working shit jobs or getting like in that kind of area again because he knows how shit it is. Like
it's good that you brought that up because Tevez was in the same boat when he went to China, and he explained like essentially he was financially backing 30 like households within his family because his aim was to get them out of their village or neighborhood because it's pretty rough.
Yeah,
and the aim was to make sure they wouldn't have to worry about having to go back there and live comfortably.
Yeah, like you look at Sadio Mane, like we all know my opinions on him at the moment. But you look at you look at what he's done for his village. He's built a hospital. He gives everyone a salary over there. Like that's a small village from in the middle of Senegal that no one's ever heard of, and he's doing so wonders for it. Like he's supporting an entire economy right there. Like, but no, he's chasing the money and shit. So like
a lot of it is also, and you also mentioned it in the group, Jesse, a lot of it is also the EPL sort of high horse in that the EPL is like now getting threatened by Saudi Arabia with the fact that Saudi Arabia are exerting their economic power. But in reality, for the last maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years, the real Super League has been the Premier League.
Probably longer.
Has been the ones. Yeah, probably. Look, I'm just
because like if
a low estimate.
Yeah,
Premier League's been the one that had the financial power to exert authority, and if we're going to talk about how players are chasing bags to go to Saudi to secure themselves and their families for the future, look no less than Chelsea. You got Moises Caicedo. The guy's got a whole village that he calls siblings because his family is just that massive. And he rejected Arsenal, or he didn't end up going to Arsenal. He rejected Liverpool for Chelsea. Why wouldn't you? He's going to get paid what, 150, 200 a week for 8 years. So like, if Chelsea are giving these fuck off contracts to blokes who are chasing the bag, why is it okay for the Premier League to exert that kind of power? And
I also
Saudi can't. That's just a bit hypocritical, I would think.
It is. There's a lot of things coming out about the Premier League and some Premier League fans that is really hypocritical. Like what Klopp was saying too, like how the Saudi transfer windows open a week later or like 2 weeks longer than the Premier League, and it's shit and how it should all be in line. It's like, well, Premier League's had that advantage over most leagues for a long time. South American leagues closed like 3 weeks ago, but you don't hear any of them complaining about how Premier League can still buy their players. And at the end of the day, like it's just the way it is. And as you said, like you got players leaving top clubs in like Germany or France to go to, West Ham. Like not to shit on West Ham, they're currently a European champion of whatever division they won. But like, you've got players who will leave like, Leverkusen, who are arguably probably a bigger club, to go to West Ham and just chill. And it's like, well, that's just they're only going there because they can get more money there. And there's no different from Never's going from Wolves to Saudi Arabia because he can get more money. Someone else is coming who's offering more and can, beat the Premier League clubs at their own game.
Yeah.
It's toughen up.
Do you think there's
Do
a
we
bit of
think-
fear about it as well? Like,
Yeah, 100%.
there was a lot of uncertainty with the European Super League when that got pitched, because the thought was all the elite talent was going to be bottlenecked into this Super League that would box out all the smaller clubs. And now the Saudis are firing up. They're buying players who are, in the later ends of their career, but now they're starting to get younger players, like you mentioned, Vega. Are they going to start taking that mid-tier level of talent away from like your West Hams and your Brightons? And
I reckon it's still going to be
teams.
mainly the big teams that get rated, because it'll be somebody, let's say, who was going to step up from, let's say, a West Ham to a Chelsea, would end up just, instead of going to Chelsea, will go to Saudi. So
Yeah.
I don't think the West Hams or the Brightons will be the ones suffering. I think it still will be the, big 8, 6, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah, it'll be the big clubs that lose out. It will be because, like, no offense to Saudi, these smaller clubs like Brighton, even, you look at Salzburg or Lens or anything like that, these clubs that, have turned great players out of nowhere. They have a better scouting network. They know what to look for in youngster players. They go everywhere. That really, like, these big clubs won't. Like, everyone's like, well, why didn't United look for Casado ages ago, or like Liverpool or whatever? It's like, well, they're not looking in the same area as Brighton because they have a different market to Brighton. Brighton's looking for a player that they can turn into that diamond, whereas like Liverpool's looking for either a diamond that's already there or someone who's on the verge of being that diamond in different markets. And these small clubs will always win over Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia doesn't want to sign some player that no one's heard of. They want a big name player because that's going to attract people to watch the leagues and cover up their potential crimes.
And I lost my train of thought now. No, I was going to say, like, I think Saudi's end game as well with this whole Super League stuff. I think their end game is to be in the European Champions League, be in UEFA, which
100%.
I guess is their attempt to legitimize themselves. And look, it'd be interesting whether or not it will happen, because the travel, I mean, I know like they're all sort of close, but I mean, to go from Europe to Saudi, it's still like a fair.
Pretty sure the Saudi will just get like a private jet plane, whatever.
They got some super jets going,
yeah.
They got something going. But the other thing as well, and like I know that like Ronaldo gets paid to say it'll be a top 5 league. Like, you take what he says with a grain of salt, but do we actually think, like, at this point? I think at this point it's definitely surpassing whatever China was, because China was a flash in the pan. This is
China had limitations as well.
Yeah, exactly. I can't stress this enough. These Saudis don't have a concept of money. What we think of as money, they're just like, they don't have a concept of money. They got unlimited money. It's unfathomable just to the average person. I think it's going to be better than, obviously better than the A League here. Let's be honest, but I think it'll be better than the MLS.
Totally.
I think it's going to be better than the MLS just in terms of the talent, like just the amount of talent that's there. It won't be a top 5 league. Like, I don't think it'll ever crack, be even better than the Belgian league. But do we think it'll be maybe a top 10, 15, 20 league in the world?
I think it's got potential, because if you look at how we've started, Ronaldo went over there and then people are like, oh, it's just old people going for a payday. But Ronaldo going there kind of legitimized it a bit for players to take that step and have a go. And we're barely into the first season of all this happening. But if they keep this momentum, more players are going to see the appeal, and it's just going to grow.
My thing
and
is,
the living conditions are a lot better as well. Like, it's good. Like, Saudi is actually good to live in, especially for those guys. Tax free. They live under different rules, like the Sharia law, whatever. Doesn't apply to those guys. Like, Ronaldo's living with his missus. They're not married. They get treated differently. So it's the living conditions are so much better as well. Lifestyle on top of the money, on top of a decent football league.
My thing will be, like, for me, it determines on how serious they take it when they're over there, because that determines whether, like, you got Ronaldo who takes it serious because that's just his winning mentality. But like, you got other players, Benzema, like, yeah, he'll probably
leave.
He'll probably yeah, I know. But he'll
doesn't want him.
Yeah, like, he'll probably try to play well, but like, to him it's like, well, I'm getting paid a shit ton of money, like, I don't want to break a leg at my age and be screwed, so like, just take it easy. And I'm 35. I don't want to hurt myself serious.
What
So
about
like,
Neymar? Would he be taken seriously?
mate, Neymar will play like he'll play 15, 16 games, and then he'll go
Birthday.
into yeah.
They doesn't take anything seriously unless it's his sister.
He'll
But
end
I
up in
think
an embassy.
I think the Saudis as a federation are taking it quite seriously because they've appointed Mancini to oversee like their national setup. So they've definitely got some sort of plan.
They do. And
Isn't
they
that
did
just
really
their
well.
national?
Well, he's a national coach, but I think it's going to do like a lot of consulting. I think like it's going to be a lot more like hands-on rather than just the coach, and especially get
setting
a
it all
coach
up.
and again a coach of his expertise, European Championship winner, Serie A winner, Premier League winner. That's pretty big.
They'll qualify for a
not to
World Cup before Italy.
Well, I mean, they have the last two World Cups,
the only thing
they
is,
had a great World Cup last World Cup. They obviously did really well with Hervé Renard, the sexiest man alive, and now as well, because originally they were going to plan to bid for the 2030 World Cup. I think they were going to do a triple bid alongside Egypt and Greece, which is a bit of a weird mix, but sure. But I think now what they're doing is they've realized that okay, we got the power now because they're doing so much like in the world of football. I think they're scrapping that joint bid and going to do a solo bid for 2034, I think. And as
can
Aussies,
I travel there with my Israeli passport?
You can, I think. Oh, you're Aussie, so just use that. But as Aussies as well, like because that's the World Cup that we want. Again, we're going to lose out to just an oil-rich Arab nation, it's going to legitimize them again.
Just to go back on the whole manager thing. Like I know they've just got Mancini, but it's not the first time that they've signed a well-known manager. Obviously, we'd expect that they've had Hervé Renard a couple of years ago. They had Bert Van, I can't say his last name, the old Aussie coach. Yeah, that's the one.
That we had,
yeah. Frank Ricard, and then all the way back in the fucking ages ago in the 70s, they had Puskas. Like it's not they've had big name managers before. I don't know.
But
if
I think
really
they've had the managers before, now. But this time they want Mancini to like oversee the entire setup, like structure everything so they can future-proof themselves.
Yeah, but I don't know if he's the right person to do that. Like, I don't think a coach is, because you got to set the level of every single level to be like that.
You say that, but at the same time, like, I mean, yes, he's a Muppet, but Southgate was quite essential in England's kind of like setup.
Yeah, but I think you benefit from like the work that's been put in. Like he didn't just he's inherited a great team. Like sorry, that's the wrong way. No. Yeah, but he selected all these players, right? But like it's a system that the England FA put in, back 20 years ago. That's showing its fruits now. It's not something like that just started 10 years ago.
That could be Saudi though. Saudi could be in 20 years' time, especially now with all these players there. More kids are probably going to get inspired to be playing football, aspiring to be the Ronaldos, the Manes, the Benzemas, the Neymars.
It must be hard growing out in the street with like gold soccer balls.
Oh no,
that's why
you have guys like Anthony. Yeah, I had 5,000 families in my one house. Then it's like freaking Al Abdali from Riyadh. Oh, all my friends had Bugattis. We had Lamborghinis. It was a hard upbringing for me.
But just to also to go back to it too. So like, if we look at China, for instance, when they had their big era, they hired another Italian as well. They hired Marcelo Lippi. No,
they had Lippi and but Trapattoni also coached there too.
Yeah, but Lippi was like a World Cup winner. They had him to oversee their entire football thing, and then they had Fabio Cannavaro as a step in after that, and now they've got Alexander Jankovic, but it hasn't paid off any fruits to them. Their big player that they thought was going to be the one that made a big name for himself went to Spain and was shit. Like, I don't know, Saudi Arabia, I mean, they're already at a head start. They've always been better than China in football, so maybe it's going to be different. But if they're copying the whole China method, it just hasn't worked before. It takes a long time.
Didn't China only allow 2 foreign signings?
Yeah.
So they were expecting that by having these
3 or 4, I think it was, and but the thing was that they had limits, so you had to play young players, you had to play Chinese players. So you can have other Asian players, but you had to have a limit of Chinese players playing. and that helps develop your Chinese players. Like that helps develop your national team players by having them play with and against. So like if you're just filling up a whole team of Al Nassr with a bunch of foreigners and having no Saudi Arabian players play, like they're not going to get any better because they're not playing.
Yeah, but then you let them go out on the town, and in 18 years, you've got a lot of young lads with South American features.
You got a bunch of like African and Brazilian Saudis running around.
Yeah.
Look, as the resident Arab, the only thing I'll just quickly like add on to this is that when the Arabs do put their mind to something, it gets done. You just can't underestimate the power of what these people can do.
And they put their mind to lowering the price of petrol, fuckers.
Oh, exactly right. They control. I mean, like look what Saudi Arabia has built as a country in 100 years once they discovered oil. So, like I said, and look at the World Cup too. Like, yeah, it was definitely stained and tainted, but what Qatar was able to build in a decade was just kind of staggering. So
it's easy to do it when you nationalize Brazilians as Qataris.
But exactly, but that's what I'm saying. They don't care. Arabs just get shit done. So like,
if you ever doubt oil money,
I think it's risky to underestimate the oil money, as Reggie was saying. Like, look,
if you ever doubt it, just ask someone mine and Yoni's age if we remember what Man City were like 20 years ago.
I don't, because they were.
Because you guys are old.
Yeah.
Very old. That's enough on the Saudis, though. We can talk about it forever, but at the end of the day,
best league out of the way.
We're all gonna feel Saudi today, as a wise man once said.
Have you already picked a team that you're going to support for the future?
Al Nassr, duh. What stupid question is that? You're asking me what team I'm going to support? The Ronaldo FC. You're kidding me? I follow them on TikTok and everything now. I have to.
I'll support Al Ittihad
Stadium.
No. What's up, Gerard? What's yours? Al Ittifaqi. Right. Marhaba. Welcome to Al Ittifaqi.
I like that one because they're on top at the moment and they've got Benzema. Yeah. Al Nassr's not even on top, mate. Al Nassr's 10th, mate. Oh, not going good. Ronaldo and Mane. Shit.
I'm going to wait a few months until they start offering money for supporters.
Shit, why did I take it back?
They start. They're not filling out stadiums. They start paying for people to fly there. I'll back it. But we'll get onto the main leagues. So we'll get onto the European leagues because those do exist for now. We'll start with the Premier League. Controversial weekend. It's the third game weekend.
That's all laugh.
We're all having VAR situations, but before we have VAR situations, let's just look at Reggie's background and look at Aaron Ramsdale, Arsenal's signature defensive goalkeeper.
Yep.
You can see him.
It's almost as good as Anana taking a sit down, mate.
Yeah, but at least like we're not pretending that we have like 5 goalkeepers to play on the field at the same time. I think this hopefully puts to rest the David Raya debacle. Like, there's a reason why they got him.
Because if you listen to Arsenal fans, this was calculated by Ramsdale. So,
oh yeah,
turning my back to the ball is a calculated move. You guys won't understand.
He just wanted to challenge himself.
Yeah,
and then he
look. He's got a stat that he has a stat that no other goalkeeper in the Premier League has, and that's conceding a goal in the first minute, 3 games in a year. So, you know what?
Record breaker.
De Gea didn't even have that. Ketch doesn't have that. Mate, Arsenal's got themselves a winner.
Do you know what stat I heard about De Gea, actually? So,
sorry, guys. I shouldn't have brought it up. He doesn't even play for Man United.
He's the only goalkeeper that has assisted Bruno.
Last season. Last season.
Oh, God.
Ederson has only had 1 more defensive action outside of his box than David De Gea did, and everyone says Ederson's like the greatest sweeper keeper. Blah blah blah. Only 1 action more than.
Who the fuck's saying that? They not seen Neuer? The man invented sweeping keeper. What the fuck?
Oh, mate, you're so boring. No one cares about Neuer.
Right. Neuer's sweeping the kitchen at the moment.
Nah, he's back in training, mate.
Oh yeah, you can barely train the fucking old bastard.
You know who's not in training? Pavard. He doesn't want to be there anymore.
We'll take him.
He's called in sick.
We'll touch on this morning's game, cracker, because we got our resident Liverpool fan, pseudo Liverpool fan, according to the group.
What you call him?
Well, he's a Liverpool fan. No, Reggie, but like he's a pseudo Liverpool fan because for some reason
pronounces it pseudo.
He probably does. Probably doesn't know what the word is. Anyway. Because for some reason, in God knows
how do you spell it?
For God knows how long Reggie has been in this group, people can't seem to crack on the fact that he is a Liverpool fan, and they keep just every week they assume he's a United fan. But good game this morning. You pulled the win from the arse despite everything going wrong. Van Dijk red card, first time ever. You can't dribble past him when he fouls you.
Trent's doing Trent things.
Doing Trent, yeah.
Yeah.
Darwin Nunez. What did you think of the game, Reg? Like
stressful.
The decisions,
as fuck.
Like, touch on this? I didn't watch it.
Trent masterclass. Got yellowed for getting pushed over and getting upset about it. Then avoided a yellow for swinging at Gordon's face. So I think the refs have done well to balance it out there. If he did get sent off, he wouldn't have had a miscontrol where his foot went over the ball, which set up Gordon. And then, we're on the back foot. Isak was very clever to play the ball the way he did. Van Dijk does get the ball, but because of the way Isak stepped across him, he's been cleaned up in the process. Because of where it happened, could have potentially been a yellow, but you're not really going to argue a red card in that situation. We pretty much scrapped it out until Nunez came on, bailed us out. 2 very similar goals. Loves a goal at St. James Park. And
very good goals, actually. Very good
finishes. Very good finishes. Very composed.
It's a complete opposite because Newcastle hit the post twice, so they actually just couldn't finish.
I think it was good by Allison, plus their poor finishing. Allison made 7 saves, and 4 of them were from penalty spot or closer or something like that, which is a personal best for him.
And then goal save as well.
That Almiron save too. That probably saved the season.
Like Almiron could have scored that, and then he hit the post again. Like it could have very easily been a very different game, but Allison, like he had to do last year, saved us a lot of points.
How's your midfield looking with this Wasabi Endo, whatever his name is? How's that looking?
I haven't seen enough because he come on when we were down to 10 men last game when Alexis got sent off. He did okay.
Who's going to get the red next game?
Oh, depends who we've got next. I think we're dual forward. We've had a midfielder and a defender.
Nunez, perfect.
Yeah, Nunez
finally starts a game.
Another headbutt.
You got Aston Villa next, mate. So Villa's going to win that.
Hey, Villa have good wingers. I'll be watching out.
Musa
Diaby. Trent's going to fucking get sent to the shadow realm.
Yeah, and we still won't buy another right back.
Redback
spider. But Endo, he looks okay, but I think he's a bit slow on the ball. We'll have to wait and see how he performs throughout the season.
Midfield?
He started centre forward with Salah and Diaz either side, and Diaz I thought was more lively player up front, and he was the one that made way for Joe Gomez. So that was an interesting decision. I was swearing at Klopp, saying he's lost his damn mind. Stirred up the group a bit. Let's all laugh at Liverpool, and the jinx worked.
It did work. Well, we know what that was in reference to. It was laughing at Man United because we had probably the worst start we've ever had in terms of 2-0 down in 5 minutes.
It is actually the worst start we've ever had. Like, not probably about it.
Thought so. At Old Trafford, 2-0 down in 5 minutes. You've got Rashford not putting tackles in. Onana taking seats when he's one-on-one with a striker. Don't know what's going on there. I can't really take pride in the win. But controversial decisions again. Red card, people don't like. I think it was red card. Eat my ass. I think
100% a red.
Also eat my ass.
I think it's a red card, but the way Bruno played it was very sneaky. Like he positioned himself well, and he pulled the defender onto him.
It's very similar to the Van Dijk red card. Like it is actually quite similar. Like there's another defender who may get there, but probably isn't going to get there. Same situation.
If you look at other angles, Bolly was actually not really anywhere near it, and I guess
Bolly is never making it. Yeah,
it's not have a goal scoring opportunity. Penalty was very contentious, but we
can I say if Szoboszlai gets a penalty last week, this was a penalty too.
I thought it was a pen, but people had strong opinions on it, but I thought it was a pen. But I'm taking anything at this stage because we look like shit right now. So I'm not really happy with the way we're performing. We're not even on the level of West Ham, who stole a victory against Brighton.
I will argue with you about this because while we have been shit for the first 2 games, aside from that 5 minutes where we conceded 2 goals, the other 85 minutes of the game, or 95 because there was so much extra time, we pushed and pushed. Like that, at the end of the day, the fact is we scored 3 goals. We could have had more. Like we had big missed opportunities as well. So we actually did play a better game. Like, yes, we considered 2 in the first 5 minutes, but don't let that take away from the 85 minutes after. Bruno was everywhere.
Not to like shit on what you're saying, but it's Nottingham Forest, mate. Like you'd expect.
I know.
I'd expect you to play decent against them at home. Like.
Agreed. But I'm just saying, this game, performance-wise, was not as bad as people are saying because
it wasn't that bad, but it's just more so like we're needing to have to come back from 2-0 down after 5 minutes.
I think
that's 5 minutes out of 90. So what percentage is that? That's like 6%.
No, I know, but we shouldn't have to be chasing the game. That's not what we
should.
And we performed well doing it.
Just want a side note too. Just want to side note.
This way,
Yoni went to sleep.
Wait. Barca
didn't watch the full game.
The first game, Barca lost like 4-0 to PSG. They should never be in the situation where they need to win that second game. But that second game, they performed super and they won it. Yeah, but that's situation.
That's PSG. This is not.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's the same situation. They should never be in that situation. But they performed well.
And you can't discredit Forest either. They scored against Arsenal, who have the best keeper in the league, and they won their last game against Sheffield United. So they can be competitive.
Yoni, what was your favourite moment of the second half, mate?
Favorite moment of the second half?
Was it when Casemiro scored? Or like, did you see it? Because I was watching live.
That one. Yeah, I saw it.
Live or
I saw it
2 days later on YouTube after replays.
2 days later is a lot better than 2 years after the World Cup final. You still haven't seen it.
Probably the biggest game in world football, you know.
I watched the women's one. All right, leave me alone.
Oh, that's.
I thought you played it.
Good. That's
what?
Because he's Mary Fowler.
No, she didn't make it to the final, mate. Come on.
We didn't even podium. Are you dumb? Did Mary Fowler make the World Cup final?
Oh God!
Oh wait, yeah.
This guy calls himself a football fan.
In my head, I was thinking you were telling
Sydney,
me.
Mate.
In my head, I was thinking you were telling me she didn't even she wasn't in the starting 11. You know.
Well, she wasn't in the starting 11 of the final because
you're boring. You get what I mean.
Oh jeez, I was going to say no. I wanted to talk about West Ham for a second because West Ham also did amazingly well to steal the point off Brighton. They're looking really good. They've somehow moved on exponentially from Declan Rice. What they've purchased with him, Ward-Prowse looks great. Edson Alvarez looks great.
Kudos, Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, Mavropanos,
Bowen.
He's been there for about 8 seasons.
Just wish they would have a striker. I just wish they would have a striker that's not Mikel Antonio because, like, enough's enough. Get a real.
Well, they just got Kudos, didn't they? They'll play him as a striker.
He's a midfielder.
Yeah. I thought he was a right winger.
No, he's an attacking midfielder. So another midfielder that's going to be better than Bruno.
Well, he'll probably play on the right, the right wing. But yeah, he probably
look at him.
He definitely fit there.
He gets so agitated when I talk about Bruno.
He does.
We don't talk about Bruno.
No.
Oh God!
But after the incident, but after that, we did not talk about Bruno. We'll move on for the Premier League though, because there's a few more. I mean, there's other leagues that exist.
There is one thing I want to say about the Premier League.
Quickly, is it the refs? Because they're bad. We get it.
Oh no! How good was Rodri's volley at the end?
Oh yes.
Yeah, why is Rodri turning into like this clutch goal scorer over the last 6 months? What the fuck?
No, he doesn't get marked in the box. Everyone's so focused on like Haaland and shit. Everyone's like, oh, Rodri just comes in. I'll take it.
Oh yeah, let's talk about Haaland as well.
Well, he missed the penalty, got a goal. I mean, the worst performer was Kyle Walker. He was terrible. I don't know if anyone saw.
But he was terrible. But he got the ball that led to Rodri's goal as well. Like he chased like the lost cause kind of thing.
Did you see? Yeah, no, but did you see what he did to concede the goal? The guy's lying down out of bounds, keeping everyone onside.
Yeah.
Absolute idiot.
Well, thank God thank God City kept him and we didn't sign him.
It's true, because we'll talk about you guys now. Jesse, I want you to touch on Bayern Munich. Harry Kane,
2 goals,
like a duck to water. 2 nice goals. I mean, the penalty was a penalty, but it was.
It's a very different penalty for him.
Jesse
he went down the middle
has claimed that penalties shouldn't be taken.
Don't count. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I do agree. Right, penalties shouldn't be taken by the best penalty taker on the team. They should be taken by the person who gets fouled in the penalty box, because I bet Bayern benefits so much from Robert Lewandowski never missing penalties. I'm the first one to say would fucking get disadvantaged by it so badly, but it's fucking bullshit. I hate it.
But what do you do then when it is a handball?
The defender takes the penalty.
The person who kicked it into the person who's the player that last touched it from the right to the penalty.
The goalkeeper takes it, true, Reggie?
Yeah.
You don't remember to take it.
I just think it's stupid. I think they should give it to the person who gets fouled, not the best goal scorer.
They'll never change that rule, but
give it to the best guy.
I can appreciate the
penalties are so hard to win for a goalkeeper. They need to make it fairer, because not every attacking opportunity inside the box leads to a goal, but 90% of penalties do.
Well, that's where the rules they've done.
I'm going to say it's not letting
him taunt.
Just as an FYI,
it's 80. It's actually statistically it's 80%. But what they stuff up the goalkeepers by sticking him on their line. They can't taunt the striker. That ruins it. But the penalty thing is it is what it is.
Unless you're Mary Epps against Australia, apparently you can jump off your line and it's fine.
Yeah.
Bullshit, bitch.
No, was it? Sorry,
it was in the final.
Yeah, it was in the final. So you know that, but you just asked if Mary played. Oh,
yeah,
God.
come on, Mary. You should know you didn't play the final.
Tell us about Harry Kane's adventures in Germany.
Yeah.
Oh, he scored a goal.
He's 3 goals in at the moment, isn't he?
He scored 2 goals in another game. Didn't score against Leipzig.
How's he looking?
Looks good.
Is he actually looking?
Looks good. He fits in with the team,
He
seems happy. He actually seems quite happy being
he's
there.
Playing for a real team.
Because he moved from fucking London to Munich, man. I'd fucking be happy too.
Specifically Spurs.
I mean, if we can, we can't trash Spurs now because Ange Postecoglou's got them playing.
We didn't talk about fucking Ange, mate.
Yeah, we'll touch on Ange. We'll
have to fly back.
Hang on. We'll talk about Ange, not Tottenham, because I'm refusing to like Tottenham.
I like their new song that they've got. I'm loving big games.
So does Robbie Williams.
Yeah, I know, he was singing it.
He posted on Instagram about it. I didn't know it's a Tottenham fan. Explains a lot.
Well, no, he said at the end of it, I guess I'm a Tottenham fan now.
Oh,
what have they got? They've got Tom Holland, Robbie Williams, some other people.
They do. I mean, they're London clubs. It makes sense. But yeah, no, what Tottenham are doing, far out. Ange is just.
They're going for that Nottingham player, Jackson, whatever his name is.
Johnson.
Johnson, that's the one. Sorry, I fucking Premier League, I don't know. Because that's gonna fit Ange's system better. I love him. He called out fucking Gary. He called out Gary Neville the other day after the game, because they're like, do you how do you get your fullbacks to play midfield? And he goes, just copying Pepe, ain't I?
Yeah.
Fucking Gary Neville, what a wanker.
It's just a shame I love Richarlison.
I love his post match or any of his press conferences, because he's just I'm not a magician, mate. Just the way he says things.
It's just so Aussie. I love it.
It's just like talking to a bloke at the pub.
Yeah.
He doesn't suffer for.
And anytime he gets asked a dumb question, he'll kind of answer and be like,
It's like when the German journalist went all the way to, I think it was Singapore, with a Bayern jersey that said Kane on it. This was before Kane had signed, and the guy's showing it to Ange, and Ange just you fucking flew all the way up for that. Nice. Just shut him down immediately and then moved on. The guy's just sitting there trying to be so proud, but
doesn't take
nobody laughed at it at all. No one acknowledged it. Besides Ange just making fun of him.
It is funny how basically everyone at Tottenham has improved under Ange except for Richarlison. So I think that just proves that you can't polish a turd. Because what was the photo that I sent? What was the photo that I sent of everyone's match ratings after this past weekend's game? Everyone's got 7 and above. Richarlison 3.4. It's he's just.
Was that lower or higher than Ramsdale got for us?
They were probably the
Ramsdale
same.
was as low as 3, and I think he got boosted because of that save at the end. So
there is an imposter among us, and it is those two.
Hmm.
Speaking of farmers, I'll continue. What are you going to say?
I was just going to say, echo what you said. Nobody wants to like Spurs, but Ange is turning a lot of people, not just Australians. Like in England, they genuinely love him. I don't know if anyone listens to Tifo talk about football, but they were a huge fan of him in Scotland as well. So I think it's a match made in heaven for Ange.
Mate, when Ange goes to Real Madrid, we're gonna have to face the whole same shit of who's this fucking bloke, blah blah blah,
Yeah,
and then he's gonna take him to like a fucking fucking topple fucking UCL run. It'll be the greatest manager
and
in
then
history.
they'll still turn on him.
They'll boo him for one loss against fucking Getafe or something.
We want
they'll
Ancelotti
put him
back.
once he goes golfing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
He'll go watch the cricket in fucking England, and they'll be like, "Why is he over there?" That's all right. Go back to Germany though. Dortmund look absolutely fucking shit.
Do they? I've actually kept up.
They are not playing well. Like they're doing well. They've won a game, they've drawn another, but man, they look they don't look anything like they did last season. It's got nothing to do with Bellingham. It's just every other player on the team is fucking garbage at the moment. Leverkusen look better than them. I don't like if Dortmund doesn't change something soon, like they're not finished in top 5. Like
they had a pretty bad start though last season as well, didn't they?
Yeah, but I mean,
and then they turn around post World Cup. So
yeah,
I mean,
they turned around when they turned around when the striker came back from cancer. They've got a full strength team at the moment, and they're not doing well at all.
You never know; it could be.
and they also lose their striker in the middle of January for fucking a month because of the AFCON.
Yeah.
So like,
because that's right.
Yeah, so I don't know what Dortmund's gonna do, but they're not having a good run at the moment. Like they won 1-0 against Cologne, and then they drew with Bochum. Like two teams
that United going to do when Onana goes? We have no keeper.
He doesn't play for Cameroon anymore. He's got a bad.
Yeah, after the World Cup, mate. He left the World Cup early
because they didn't want to play like his style, which is
I remember
play midfield, and so there's a whole. So we're sweet on that front.
But if you look at Xabi Alonso, goddamn, there is going to be a battle between Bayern, Madrid, and Liverpool to fucking get his signature when they're all looking for a side. He'll go to Madrid. He'll go to Madrid. And like all these Bayern fans in one of the groups are like, "Oh, like he's destined to come to us." I'm like, "Fuck no!" Like I'd love it. He's going to Madrid. It's like, but he's got Leverkusen playing great. They absolutely destroyed Gladbach overnight, and they destroyed Leipzig the other day, and even Bayern couldn't beat Leipzig. I don't want to say it's their year because
Reggie, he's doing it. Reggie,
he's doing it again.
No, I'm not doing anything. I was gonna say I don't want to jinx it because like there's a reason Leverkusen's nickname is Neverkusen because they never fucking win anything. But like if any team could be up there, Xabi Alonso's got a decent side. And he hasn't lost like any major player too. Like he's kept a pretty good team to play.
Don't you go for Bayern though?
They bought Kovar from us as well. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but neither of them are.
Yeah, you're not allowed to praise other teams. You go for Bayern.
That's basically it.
Yeah, I know. Look at me fucking talking about how decent Union Berlin is, and apparently I'm not only allowed to talk about Bayern. Fuck me.
Didn't they have a big win? They had like 10 men very early and won like 4-0 or something.
Bayern?
No, Union Berlin.
I don't know.
Man. Yeah, they just won. Yeah. But I couldn't tell you what the score was.
Good for the Ballooners. Speaking of farms, we're going to go to France.
4-1.
My favorite farm. My favorite farm is France because my boy, Kylian Mbappe, is back. Just shows that club are a bunch of bitches. They kick up a fuss and they just get back in.
It took one draw.
He's going to extend, mate. That's why.
Yeah, and then he's going to go to Real Madrid. But he comes back with 2 goals. PSG winning comfortably against Arsenal and good performance by them. PSG actually look good. Like, it's crazy.
It's crazy. They might even win the league.
They look so good. They're currently sitting in 8th with 1 win.
No, but the way they're playing, like it's nice to actually like look at a PSG team that kind of like know what they're doing. It's crazy that all it took was getting a manager that likes black people in, and also getting a a midfield that can actually like string some passes together.
And also allowing Mbappe to play.
Yes,
Well,
I
the
think
only
they
game
quickly realized,
the only
we're
game
gonna
he
need
won.
him. Legit, and he like I mean I watched a fair bit of it, and he looked great. Like Mbappe doing Mbappe things. They'll win the league, but it was good to sort of
Was
see
Asensio playing striker?
Yeah, like false nine strikery thing. But I mean, I think like long term, you look at Dembele, Ramos, and Mbappe being that front three, which I think it's a really good front three. And
Is Ramos
they've got a
injured
really
or
good
something?
team. I don't know why he didn't play.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
injured.
he's still getting used to it. He's also still getting used to it, but it's a good little mix of like attackers that they've got. To see hopefully how long Dembele can last before he's in the hospital again. But I think they did good to get rid of Neymar and get rid of Messi. Like, not that they were bad plays necessarily, but it's about time that that club actually puts a stance in. Like, I know Jesse Howe, Bayern are famous for being very culturally German, culturally Bavarian. Have to learn German, have to speak German, all that sort of stuff. PSG were just letting players do what they want. Now they're instituting a whole got to speak French, got to be respectful of the culture. So they're actually trying to like have a club in there. So hopefully there's no more prima donna nonsense that they've had.
I really want to hear Harry Kane speak German.
They've still got they've still got Mbappe, mate. They're not gonna have a fucking ego problem.
Only
They're
for
gonna have
12 more
ego
months.
Yeah,
until the next one comes out. But I don't know. They just don't have good depth. Like
they don't.
The starting 11's nice, but like all it takes is one or two injuries, and their team is not great anymore. Like, if you look at their bench, man, it's just like,
oh, it's so bad.
Who the fuck is Ismail Gabi and fucking Cher? I don't know these players. I don't even know how to pronounce the names, but that's standard.
You can't even pronounce Anglo-Saxon names, so
yeah, let alone French or like African names. So
yeah.
Okay, you know what? I can pronounce Nestori Irukunda. That's all I need.
That's impressive because no one else can do that.
Yoni's like, who?
Yeah, he's never seen him play in his life.
About Mbappe, he must be absolutely licking his lips watching his future Cam just tear it up. Hey,
yes, I was about to touch on Jude Bellingham. I was worried about the Benzema replacement. It's clearly Jude Bellingham. This guy's just can't stop scoring. What's going on?
Did he play so advanced when he was in Germany, or was he more of like a holding?
It was more box to box kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then
he wasn't scoring like this.
But he did. I mean, he did do well, especially last season. But
have you seen his
Ancelotti
striker finishes?
But Ancelotti said that he sees him more as a 10 than an 8 or a 6, right? So that's what he's playing.
Well, out of Madrid's
Magic as midfielders.
I don't know. Out of their 6 goals, he's contributed to 5 of them.
Yeah, and he
4 goals and 1 assist. Right? Yeah, he scored 4 of them. Assisted 1.
Finishes. I don't know if anyone saw his goal on the weekend. It's him catching onto a header from a flick on. Like that's a poacher's finish. Like you never see.
And it was like late in the game as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, like 81st minute, I think it was. They weren't really doing that well. And I looked at like their lineup. I know they don't have a striker, but they kind of did like a diamond formation with Rodrigo and Vini at the top.
Yeah,
and then the midfield was Jude, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, and Valverde.
I think they did that quite a bit last season when Benzema was injured as well. They had Rodrigo and Vini up front.
And they're so dangerous and potent. Like we know how good they are, especially Vini Jr. But then to see that midfield, and I saw a photo, like I sent you in the group, the photo of Tchouaméni, Camavinga, and Bellingham, and I thought, fuck, that's Madrid sorted for 10 years. Like I can't believe they've just done that. They just replaced Casemiro, Kroos, and Modric at the drop of a hat, and they're going to just keep winning more Champions Leagues now. If they get Mbappe, forget about it.
I don't think that
back is not having a proper keeper.
No, they're not going to get Mbappe. I don't think that's ever going to happen. I reckon Madrid is given up, to be honest. I don't know. Like the wages that he's on, I don't know if Madrid could ever match. And like, do you really? Madrid's got such a decent team as it is. Like, do you really want to bring in someone like Mbappe who does has quite evidently got a bit of an ego, and he's been treated like he's better than the club at PSG. Like, do you really want to bring that into your environment and potentially ruin what you have?
I mean, they had Ronaldo for 9 years. He's like the ultimate egomaniac.
Yeah, but he's got the winning mentality to back it up. right? Whereas like Mbappe's cracking tantrums about being featured in a fucking promo video to sell tickets to your fans. Like there's a difference.
Ronaldo cracked the tantrum to Piers Morgan, so I don't know. I feel like they're very similar people at this stage.
They signed Gavin Harris. Like they don't have a problem with personalities.
The one thing about Madrid, like moving away from personalities, is that I'm happy about is that they do now have a left back, and so you have Camavinga actually playing in midfield again. So
yeah,
it's just Camavinga can play anywhere.
Yeah,
need a coach Camavinga.
Bellingham's midfield role reminds me of Pogba when he was at Juve. Like having that good defensive midfielders, like he probably never has to track back ever again.
Yeah,
and he just gets to do his own thing.
Yeah.
And they've got decent depth. Like they probably still need a right back, but Fran Garcia's left back is great. Kepa's been a decent replacement for Courtois. I don't think he's that.
I would have thought
good enough. And they've lost Militao for the season.
In midfield, if they need cover, they got Modric.
Kroos and Modric getting subbed on. Like, come on, that's crazy. That's ridiculous. They're like a striker away probably from like winning the champ. I mean, they probably still could win the Champions League. To be fair, it's Madrid, but they're looking good. And I'm probably gonna have to go back on my prediction for Barca winning the league because they look terrible. They can't buy a goal.
Yeah, Lewandowski's not having a
Barca
good run.
has scored as many goals as Madrid in the 3 games. Just saying.
But the way they're playing like shit.
Yeah, but sorry, but they can't buy a goal. But
four of them came in one game, and 2 of them came in the other. They've got a draw and 2 wins.
Yeah.
Lewandowski's only scored 1 or 2, I think. So he's not on fire at the moment.
He's not looking that good, and they're relying now on another 16-year-old that they're going to burn out.
I know. You know what?
They're going to burn him out too.
You know what made me happy is when I saw that post in the group. First thing in my mind was like, that's comment. Oh, he's going to be burnt out really quickly, like Fatty was. And I click on it, and it's just 3 comments. One from you was like, he's going to be burnt out. I'm like, well, I don't have to be here. Someone's already done this job for me.
Everyone knows they're going to burn him out.
But Fatty wasn't really burnt out. He got an injury that was really bad.
Yeah, but
they rushed him back.
But he probably shouldn't have been playing as many games as he was at that age. And they rushed him back. And then they did the same thing with Pedri. Pedri, like if you remember,
Pedri's
he played.
Dead.
He
Pedri's
played.
Dead, dude.
He played
dead since that season.
He played like 40 games for 70. Barcelona. So 40 games like Barcelona or something that season. Then played for Spain at the World Cup or the Euros or whatever, and then played for Spain again at the Olympics. And man just didn't get a break, and he was playing and starting all of those games too.
And there was a photo of him, I think it was at the Euros, the Olympics, and he looks dead. And he can barely get on the field now. He's always injured. So
one of those games, there was like a story about him having like a 24-hour turnaround, and he had to fly across the planet.
Yeah,
poor guy,
like Mark Hughes. But yeah,
so he played 60 games for Barca, played the Euros, and then went straight to the Olympics. They're ridiculous. Poor guy. Poor kid.
No, exactly. And
but when Varane complains about it,
sorry, I didn't hear Pedri complaining. So Varane's a pussy.
Look where he is now.
He doesn't get the chance. It's on the pitch.
He's too busy running. You don't get a chance to speak.
Can't write on Twitter when you're like playing through balls.
Well, Varane gets subbed off to do that. So
don't know what happened. I don't know why he was subbed off, but sure, whatever.
You won, so
load management.
You know what? Good point. Speaking of Barcelona, their greatest ever player is piss fighting around in America.
Busquets?
Sure.
Jordi Alba?
Yes. And this other bloke, midget, my height, infinitely better at me at everything.
Probably taller than you,
100% taller than you.
Piss off.
Mate, Mary Fowler's taller than you.
Oh, Mary Fowler can do whatever she wants to me.
Jesus.
But
Rubiales.
Oh god, that's a topic for another day.
Messi's 5'7". How tall are you?
5'7". No. So yeah, Messi, the GOAT. This guy's embarrassed America. He looks happy.
Yeah,
he looks happy. I mean, I'd be happy too, earning that fucking money, but like, still, he looks happy.
Well, he said in the interview, like, people treat him better in America than they were treating him in France.
Oh yeah,
because they want him there. Like, they're just like, this is Messi. This is like, he's a big name.
He's the biggest name. I mean, I think it says enough when he's turning Serena Williams, Tom Brady, LeBron James, Kim Kardashian into fangirls, they're stopping to watch him. Like Leo
I wouldn't
Messi
mind
and-
turning Kim Kardashian.
Oh, shut up.
So this is what he
Shut
said
up.
a couple of days ago. He goes, joining into Miami was a family decision. We spent 2 difficult years in Paris. The truth is that it didn't go well. My trips to Argentina national team were my happiest moments because I enjoyed the place where I was, my teammates, and I wanted to come to Miami and find the same thing.
He's pretty much in South America, so
Yeah. He's in a place.
Yeah,
he doesn't
well,
have to learn. He
Florida
never bothered
has
to learn
a
French.
Central American contingent there, so
yeah.
He never bothered to learn
It
French.
used to
He
be
doesn't
the
have to bother to learn
cocaine
English
capital
now.
of the world. And where does coke come from? South America.
factories, Coca-Cola.
Shut up, Green Day.
Shut up, Mary Fowler.
the American idiot. Speaking of American idiots, no, but like seriously, the way, well, I mean, to be fair, he's making the plays look like American idiots, but it's pretty much the amalgamation of what David Beckham joined for. Because when he joined LA Galaxy, the whole thing was you're going to get your own team, and he's been teasing for years. I want to get Messi. I want to get Messi. He got Messi, and the impact it's had on the team has been great, but the impact it's had on the league, like people like Americans are now starting to realize, oh, this is soccer, this is football. These are why these big stars get paid this money. This is why these big stars are this famous. They're starting to realize this is what the fuss is about. Like the guys single-handedly just changing the complexion of the sport in a whole country. Mind you, a country that's very like insulated. All things being considered.
It's a shame Messi has to play at such a fucking shit stadium, though.
Oh, it's so bad. It looks like a pro club's Div 10 stadium.
Are they
FIFA.
still
That's what it looks
building
like.
a new stadium?
Yeah.
I know. The one they have is just fucking garbage.
It's
man.
a makeshift stadium. I'm like, I'm sure of that.
It's like they're playing on like a training ground.
Yeah.
They're playing on like Luton Town Stadium. That's what they're playing.
That's why he's got security.
You know what? I just found it. Do you know what the name of the stadium that they want to play? It's called Freedom Park, of course.
Freedom.
America.
America. We're playing Freedom Park. It's crazy as well, and it's good for Messi because it's the one place. Like, I mean, like I know he's getting more famous like day by day, but he can go out in public and not get bothered. Like, I don't know if anyone saw when he just joined Miami, he was
Big
at like
grocery.
their equivalent of Woolies.
But you know what though?
It's
He's never gonna get to play in front of it in a decent stadium for Inter Miami because like I'm just reading about their stadium at the moment. It was only in March that they closed down a golf course that's in the way of them building the stadium. So
are these guys like the Western United of America?
Yeah,
yeah, but look how quickly you can build stadiums in Qatar when you really, really want to.
Yeah, I don't think
again they have a whole Central American community in Miami.
Yeah, so America went through this.
When's America ever been above hard labor and exploiting people?
After a certain war.
But I mean, to be fair, all the away games that he plays as well, everyone's there cheering for him. Funnily, so it's kind of like he goes to a stadium with 60,000 people, and like 50 of them, even though they support the team he's against, are like, "Oh, Messi."
So, I want to see Atlanta United versus Inter Miami because it's going to be a good game.
Stadium's great.
Yeah, they've got it. The Mercedes-Benz Arena is beautiful.
Amazing stadium. It's an amazing. Stadium.
Wait, when's it happening? Soon. They played it because
tickets are freaking expensive. You're looking at like $500 to go to a Miami game.
Yeah, that's the minimum, isn't it? 500 and something.
I think
17.
You're sitting in fuck upstairs.
17th of September. They're playing there. It's gonna be good. I love the Mercedes-Benz.
Also, just want to know: do they play every 2 days? I swear they're playing like every other day. There's a game on. I'm like,
it's because they were in 2 different cups as well. So one of them is done. The other one now they're in the final, I believe. And
one of them.
The rest is just. Normal.
So the next game's against Nashville on Thursday. The next game after that's against LA on Monday.
Galaxy or AFC?
AFC. Yeah, it's slowing down now. So that was it. Like they played yesterday. They'll play on Thursday, then they play Monday, and then after that it's like Sunday. Then the 17th. So it's about 7 days.
I didn't realize that. Oh, yesterday was that goal where he did the pass, right?
Yeah.
I saw like reaction to the pass, and people are like, "Oh my god, what?" Because he like left-footed it through like 2 people.
And what makes me jealous is that they're playing against Nashville. Nita's cousins go for Nashville, and they live over there. They're gonna fucking get to see him play. I'm fucking pissed.
Are they going?
Are they paying $500?
No, their season pass members or whatever.
It's in
Oh,
So they'll get to go for free.
Battle Pass.
but it's in
Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe not.
maybe they can go to Miami. Why not have a holiday?
Who doesn't love a bit of Miami?
Never been, man. Couldn't say.
Anyway, who's gonna win the MLS? Like, let's
Miami.
let's pick some teams. All right. I reckon
Miami.
Seattle Sanders. I like their.
picking
I'm
Miami.
going for Philly.
I like their
I'm going for
chance.
I'm going for Miami.
Fight
This
and
I
win.
Messi's
I don't think
embarrassing this
Miami
entire
can
league.
even qualify for
Yeah, they can if they win every game and don't lose.
They have been winning every game. Are you serious?
Yeah, but not in the MLS yet,
Yeah,
mate.
he's only
That's
played one MLS game.
Yeah,
And they won.
that's like when old mate was like, oh, he's been like he wouldn't be successful in the MLS without Busquets. Like he played one game in the MLS, and I don't think
30
Busquets
minutes.
played. Anyway,
But touched by
Sorry,
Jordi Alba though. What the fuck?
He could still play in Europe. That's the funny thing. He could still play in Europe and
Jordi
shit
or
everyone.
Messi.
No, Messi.
Yeah,
He could still play in Europe easily. Like Barca just couldn't get him because of money, but he could easily still be playing in Europe.
imagine
Yeah,
imagine
I think
these
also
young
why
South
would you?
American kids that because America being so close to South America, they signed a bunch of like young South Americans that you never heard of. Like imagine being like Diego Gomez. You've just left your club in Paraguay and suddenly you played with Messi.
It's pretty sick, eh?
like you'd be so stoked. You went to America just to get a quick, easy chance of going to Europe, and now you're playing with the greatest footballer of all time.
Yeah, like this guy, David Ruiz, played for Club Internacional
David
de
Luiz.
Football Miami to Fort Lauderdale, and now he's in Inter. He's like 19 years old, and he's like Messi. Like Messi's been playing football for longer than you've been alive.
And again, like it's going to start getting kids to be playing more football in America. They're going to start be wanting to play it more. I mean, it's already played a fair bit.
There
but
is. Inter
Messi's
Miami
gonna be
has a
changing that.
21-year-old Argentinian kid who plays left wing. Imagine that kid suddenly, boom, Messi comes to your team. He's like the god for you, you know.
It's crazy.
Move this chat along. Sorry, I'm taking your job, Alex. Because you meant I swear someone mentioned De Gea a minute ago.
It was definitely
where is he going? Like, have you looked at the
It's
list?
kind
Of...
of like
He's
Well,
too busy
he was
watching
linked-
wrestling and anime. Actually,
There's a
linked
decent amount of
He
players.
was linked at Bayern. He was
So
linked at
glad that
Madrid.
didn't happen. So glad that
please.
didn't happen.
Oh please, spare me. It's
But
probably gonna be Saudi.
we got this fucking.
You got some Israeli. You got an
We got
Israeli
the
dude.
Israeli kid.
You got Yoni's cousin. Some
yeah,
Peretz.
my Habibi.
And
Peretz.
his girlfriend.
His name is
hot
Daniel
ass,
Peretz.
mate. His girlfriend's hot.
You say that
ass.
about every Israeli girl you see.
says that about
that's
everyone.
That's Alex.
Israeli women are pretty hot. I mean, I must admit. Like, I mean, human rights abuses aside, but I think De Gea's going Saudi.
I don't know.
Where else is he gonna go?
Well, because like if you look at the players, you got De Gea, you got Lingard, you got Alfredo Morales or whatever his name is from Rangers.
I think that's
Roberto Pereira.
Herrera.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh,
Eden
yeah.
Hazard, Ramos.
Hazard too. Ramos, yeah.
You've got fucking
but
that's
they're
it.
all washed.
Except for De Gea.
Ramos
Ramos-
isn't.
No, Ramos actually has a lot to offer, but I don't know.
Phil
where Ramos-
Jones is on that list.
Oh my god.
Poor guy. They finally found him in the toilets hiding and kicked him out.
No, I don't know. It's just my default.
Townsend?
Answer. My default answer will be they're all going to go. I think Townsend's going intermediate to be fair, but I think my default answer for all of them is just Saudi.
I reckon.
Where
Well,
else are they going to go?
I was reading on Twitter the other day. Eden Hazard's been linked to Rangers.
Yeah, I saw that.
That made me laugh. I was like, "Fuck! Could you imagine that in the old firm?"
He can't even get on the pitch. He'd break 5 legs.
Mate, yeah, he's
Playing
too
in the old
busy enjoying Macca's, mate. Don't blame
He's a
him.
hungry boy. Ramos.
He's a-
I'd like to see him go back to Madrid. Might as well. He needs to stand back.
Imagine
Well,
Ramos in
you
the
got Militao, you got Rudiger, like
Militao's injured.
yeah, but then you also have Rudiger and
Alaba.
Alaba.
Camavinga.
yeah.
Gamma. I don't know. Like I said, De Gea is an interesting one but no one needs a keeper now. That's the problem.
I know.
Like
Even
You know who
I like
Reggie
Bayern considered it for a
Arsenal.
whole of 30 seconds and then went, yeah, let's sign some kid no one's heard of from Israel. Let's hope that works.
Rude.
They have to make up for 7 years ago. That's why.
7 years ago.
I think he said 70.
I said 70.
It's
Jesse doesn't know modern history. You have to
Sorry, I deny it.
I think we'll leave it there, though, guys. It's an interesting
No, please
discussion.
don't.
Why?
I don't deny it. To clarify.
This week you've made the controversial comment, not me. So I'm sorted. We'll leave it.
Wait till we talk about Ruby Alice and Greenwood. Then I'll be back on you.
Yeah, I know. We will be discussing. It has to have its own episode. The obviously the Mason Greenwood debacle and the Luis Rubiales, whatever you want to call that. That's its own thing. So we'll be discussing that during the week. We'll set some time aside from that. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in, for listening to all our discussions on the league, Saudi Arabia, Europe, and America. Other than that, do we have anything else that we want to plug or touch on before we sign off?
It'll be a 3-man show next week because I'm going on a holiday. So catch us later.
Yeah, and I'm working. So
no, I'm sorry, in the next fortnight, brother.
It'll be Yoni and I. Then we can do United Mafia on Greenwood.
That'll be interesting.
Yoni's like, you know what? I might be busy too.
Alex is TED Talk.
Shift at work.
Just breaking news too. I'm doing this before Romano, but what's his name? Cancelo to Barca. Here we go.
You're doing it before Romano?
Yeah, 9 minutes late. Romano already got it.
That's my guy. Oh, Cancelo to Barca. Yep.
10 minutes ago. Yeah.
Good signing for them. Well done. That's a good signing for them. Don't know how they can afford it, but good on them. Guys, we'll leave it at
Oh,
there.
no, mate. That's how they afford it. City's paying. Pep doesn't want him.
That's reasonable enough. Now, like I said, we'll leave it there, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. And other than that, have a good night. Take care of yourselves.